In other words, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad had claimed that he was a Messiah, the Messiah, and Mahdi foretold in the past prophecies. And then in accordance with another prophecy, the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse occurred in the same month of Ramadan. These eclipses were repeated in exactly the same manner it happened in the Western Hemisphere. The following year, in 1895, thus, this is sufficient evidence for us that the foretold prophet has come. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian published his claim and founded the community in 1889. He lived for 19 years after that and carried on with his divine mission in guiding man towards the worship of his God, reminding man not to forget his Creator, lest he become a victim of Allah's wrath, and admonishing man about his duty to other human beings. Our slogan, love for all, hatred for none, is in fact a summation of this teaching in which he advised the following. He says, practice forbearance and tolerance, and show patience and gentleness, and do not attack anyone unduly, and suppress passions of the self. Moreover, if you indulge in a debate or in any other religious discussion, behave in a good manner, using polite language, and when the ignorant address you, avoid them gracefully by saying peace. Then he observed at another place, the important injunction, he says, the important injunction of the Holy Quran are only two. The first is to declare the oneness of love for and obedience to your Creator. And the second is to show sympathy for your brothers and other humans. Thus, the Messiah and Mahdi, whose advent took place in this age in accord with the prophecy of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, is, according to us, the same person who founded the Ahmadiyya community and taught us the true and real teaching of the Holy Quran. What are the true teachings of Islam or the Holy Quran? Due to the shortage of time, let me explain some of these briefly. I shall explain these matters with reference to the present situation and behavior of some of the Muslims. Islam and the Holy Quran are often accused of teaching extremism. In this regard, some newspapers, the media, and certain Western politicians have played with the sentiments of the Muslims and said and written provocative words about them. In my view, people who wrote and said such things either did not acknowledge the power of Allah the Almighty, care less about religion, or they were bereft of the basic moral virtue of respecting each other's feelings. Indeed, it would appear that, in their opinion, only they have feelings and emotions, whereas others do not. If one just wants to criticize or hurt the feelings of others or create discord and mischief, then it is not difficult to present references out of context from other religious books, including the Holy Bible. But we consider such references either to apply to particular circumstances or to be interpolations. Anyway, for the moment, I will talk about the Quranic teachings that were given by Almighty Allah to keep peace among human beings. It is our firm belief that ever since the world came into being, Allah the Exalted has been raising prophets in every people. And their missions has always been to guide mankind to its Creator and to establish good deeds. Allah says in the Holy Quran, "And we did raise among every people a messenger with the teaching, worship Allah and shun the evil one. Then among them were some whom Allah guided, and among them were some who became deserving of ruin." So, travel through the earth and see what was end of those who treated the prophets as liars. Chapter 16, verse 37. Thus, according to this verse, neither can we Ahmadi Muslims deny any of the prophets, nor can we ridicule them, because we are ordered to stay away from such people who talk against the prophets. Some prophets are mentioned by name in the Holy Quran and in the Holy Bible as well. We believe in the prophets, but according to the verse of the Holy Quran, in all these prophets, but according to the Holy Quran, the verse of the Holy Quran I have just quoted, we also believe that there were prophets among the Hindus and the Chinese and other nations as well. This is the basic point which Allah the Almighty has taught us. To be sensitive about the feelings of others and to pay proper respect to the prophets of the other nations, from whom an inclination to perform good works sprouts forth, and with whom attempts can be made to establish peace. The Holy Prophet, Muhammad's peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, has taught us not only to respect the very high status of the prophets, but also to respect the leaders of the other nations, as this is a factor among others that also contributes to the maintenance of peace. These are the Islamic instructions for establishing the mutual respect for each other's elders and leaders, so that peace can be established in the world. Now, you can decide for yourself whether Islam sets up the dignity and respect for others or not. Then Allah says in the Holy Quran, "O ye who believe, be steadfast in the cause of Allah, bearing witness in equity, and let not a people's enmity incite you to act otherwise than with justice. Be always just, that is nearer to righteousness. And fear Allah, surely Allah is aware of what you do." Chapter 5, verse 9. The instruction is to remain steadfast in order to acquire Allah's happiness, and this should be the sole purpose. You will only be considered a true Muslim when this happens. This firm belief can only be achieved when a Muslim practices the teachings of Allah the Almighty, setting aside all personal enmities and grudges. One must do justice. Furthermore, you should be fair to the extent that if even your opponents demand justice, you must dispense it. If they have rights, do not deprive them of these rights due to your enmity.